Hey, I'm Derek. It's me, Derek. And I'm in a Nintendo 64 game. Yep, this is me, walking on the street, living it up in this lush 64-bit metropolis. And getting there was one of the dumbest and most ridiculous journeys I have ever gone on. And for me, that is saying something. This is me inside SimCity 64. This is not a very well-known feature, and that's because the amount of dumb, expensive tech that you would need in order to do this is just peak 5th generation Nintendo. With so many hurdles, why even put this in the game? Who is this for? Who would even try this? Me, that's who. Along with the help of our Patreon supporters who voted on this video and N64 Street Gifts for letting me borrow their 64DD gear. Welcome back to Punching Weight. And this might be the weirdest, most ambitious, and the most unnecessary thing I have ever done for a video. But with all this junk, I'm gonna show you how to get into the game. Sorry about that one. But first, this part of the video is sponsored by Private Internet Access, which happens to be one of the few VPNs that fully supports peer-to-peer file sharing and torrenting. And maybe you still can't download a car, but your identity will be protected while torrenting other files, like, say, a game that might be hard to find. PIA also blocks ads, trackers, and malicious websites, which all that adds together to make me personally feel a lot safer hunting for delisted games for this channel. PIA also works on streaming sites and is one of the most transparent VPNs out there with a no-log policy that has been proven multiple times in court. It's 100% open source with a public code that anyone can look at, and it's got way more features than most other VPNs. Advanced split tunneling, customizable encryption levels, port forwarding, and even more stuff I didn't know I needed to be worried about. Use our link to get increased digital privacy for less than $2 a month and 4 additional months for free. That's only $197 a month and 84% off on top of a 30-day money-back guarantee. Link in the description below. Thanks to PIA for sponsoring this part of the video. Our journey begins with the GameBoy Camera. And look at it, the peripheral that birthed 1,000 creepypastas. The GameBoy Camera is a super charming and creative way to bring digital photography to the masses. It of course also had a printer, but there was plenty you could do with just the camera. If you've heard of a GameBoy Camera putting you into this game, these crude animations and mini-games made up of pictures featuring a whopping 4 colors is probably what you think of. You know, Punching Weight is where I get to show my love for weird games and weird peripherals, but I never felt the need to cover the Game Boy Camera. It just wasn't quite weird enough for me. I mean, it has so much fun and creative and spooky stuff in it, but I always thought it had so much more potential. Now, back in the late 90s, when I was just a wee uncle, I heard about Perfect Dark's Perfect Head mode, which would let you map Game Boy Camera pictures onto custom characters and multiplayer, and I was like, yeah, finally, camera time is here! But Perfect Dark was an overly ambitious mess. I love this game. It is a classic, absolute masterpiece, but it's true. There is so much packed into this game, but at times it barely runs. For a variety of reasons, Perfect Head mode was just one feature that was a bridge too far. I mean, it's crazy. Putting a picture from this dinky thing onto an N64 character? Impossible. I mean, we were already achieving peak graphics, but this was impossible. Or so I thought. Turns out it was totally possible, but only in Japan. Which makes this hard enough already, but that is just the tip of the iceberg. Okay, friends, the mission. I put myself into a video game. And I'm not talking like the actors in Mortal Kombat or like games that have come out recently. We gotta do this like it's 1999. Here are the tools. Of course, a Game Boy Camera. Then a Game Boy, Game Boy Color, or a Game Boy Advance. Okay, technically, or a Super Nintendo with a Super Game Boy, or a GameCube with a GBA player. Look, I know probably not a lot of people out here trying to take pictures with their GameCube, but I'm gonna be thorough and mention it, plus it's the first thing I did when I got the camera. Next, a Nintendo 64. But then how are we gonna get the pictures onto the N64? With a transfer pack, which you could have bought solo, but you probably got with Pokemon Stadium. All right, we're already looking at several $100s worth of kit here, especially for the turn of the millennium, but we are just getting started. Here's the next one, a 64DD. I'm guessing most of you know what this is, but here's a quick refresher. The 64DD is a mid-generation upgrade, / add-on, / new console, / subscription service that Nintendo released in late 1999 only in Japan, where it ultimately flopped and then was scrapped for spare parts.
Yes!
One of those spare parts? The expansion pack, which is required to run the 64DD, so you'll need one of those too. Oh, by the way, did I say Game Boy Camera? Sorry, I meant the Japanese Pocket Camera, because you know Nintendo does not like to cross the region streams. That was a rude awakening, by the way, if you're curious. That's why we have two of these. Even I think it's too dumb to own two Game Boy cameras without a good reason. And we're not done. You also need Mario Artist Paint Studio, which actually might be one of the more convenient parts of this whole operation, since it came as a sort of pack-in with the DD if you were actually doing this during Y2K. Nintendo originally sold the DD as part of a mail order package situation, which included a promised season of games, which you could either pay for with 2,500 yen per month or 30,000 yen for a whole year, which in US funny money equals $23 a month or $290 for a whole year. And again, I'm being thorough here, that is $2021 for $37.77 for a month, or $476.20 for a whole year. This is the part where I mentioned that subscription thing did not last a whole year, and you thought Switch Online was ridiculous. Okay, and finally, the actual game in question, SimCity 64. Look at this spread. This is peak proprietary Nintendo ridiculousness. Oh my god, it looks like I made a Nintendo summoning circle or something. This is the secret life your friend whose uncle worked at Nintendo was living. Nintendow's main audience was children and teens. There aren't enough lawns to mow in the universe. Even if you somehow had all this stuff, you can't help but wonder why anyone would go through all the trouble. And that's, of course, if they even knew about this feature at all. Who would have guessed that the Japanese-only sequel slash spin-off slash port of SimCity 2000 would let you import custom images? I mean, hats off to Hal for putting this feature in the game at all, but this is some serious pie-in-the-sky stuff from Nintendo. But this stuff is the type of thing I am here for. Okay, and with all of that out of the way, let's get down to business. First things first, we gotta take a picture. And like I said, my first instinct is to use the GameCube. Now, partially because it's the easiest way for me to capture footage, and also because this ain't my first rodeo. Mama always taught me, stick to what you know best. But for some reason, the GameCube recorded these lines in the footage, even though the pictures looked fine, but I have no idea why that happened. But everyone stop freaking out, it's okay, because I always have a Super Nintendo, Super Game Boy around in case of emergencies. It also helps to have a producer Grace on site to take the actual picture for you. But once you got a good one, it's time to set up the DD. Just flip over your N64, take off that weird slot cover thing that no one ever used because it was actually always meant for the DD, slap on the DD, lock it in, and now your N64 is fully upgraded for the future of gaming. Oh, look at this thick boy. I like my consoles like I like my women. Tall, thick, and with an extra disc. The DD was basically Nintendo's attempt to answer the growing popularity of disc-based systems, but with a twist. Their 64DD floppy disks, that's a disc with a K for you nerds, held more data, had rewritable storage, and happened to be proprietary so Nintendo could keep all their Nintendo bucks while slowly transitioning away from puny, expensive cartridges. Most DD games were standalone discs, though there was an expansion pack for F-Zero X to let you create your own tracks. There was also a planned expansion slash patch for Ocarina of Time that eventually was sort of, maybe or maybe not, released as Ocarina of Time Master Quest for the GameCube. However, the games we'll be dealing with today are all standalone discs like Mario Artist Paint Studio. Paint Studio can be best described as a sort of Photoshop Lite software that was a follow-up to Mario Paint on the Super Nintendo. It is also the packed-in origin of this bad boy, the peripheral that kicked off a whole crap ton of punching weights, the N64 mouse. Now I gotta be real, it is hilarious to play the N64 mouse with games because it is absolutely unwieldy, requiring wild swipes for the tiniest movements. But I always excused it, like, okay, it must be good for the game it was actually made for. Haha, nope! Like, look how hard I gotta move my arm just to get the cursor going! Using the N64 controller was actually a lot easier. But I didn't start making punching weight because I wanted things to be easy. I am thorough! First, we go into the canvas area by clicking on this paint palette icon and navigate the menu down to the GameBoy Camera icon. Time to import and time to put in the transfer pack. Actually, even though the transfer pack is usually kinda touchy, I didn't have any problems getting it to read this. Then it is time to import the picture and whoa! What is that? Oh my god. You can just take a picture in the game itself. Okay, that makes more sense. Right, this just got a little easier for people that aren't taking pictures off of a damn GameCube, but okay. I got the pic, except I want to put just a lame picture in. This is video games. We need video. You can import an entire 2-frame animation into SimCity 64. So get another image, tell the software to not read the other frames, and voila, looks just like me. All right, hold on. I couldn't help myself from doing a little bit of hyper-realistic photo editing. Just some subtle touches. Damn, your boy looking fabulous as hell. Then, and this is super important, save the file as Shimu in katakana. Not Tsumu, not Somu, not Nmu, Shimu, or Sim. See, Grace here, she put Tsumu, not Shimu, but that's my fault for not being in the room. Make sure it looks like this one. Make sure it's this one, folks. Once that's done, pop over to SimCity 64 and get a game going. I am the Mayor Skella of the town, or I'm Mayor Town of the town Skelly. I can barely understand Japanese anymore. Anyway, once you're in the game, open up the menu, navigate to the save icon, and then go to the paint icon. This is where the magic finally happens. You have to actually swap the Mario Artist paint disc, but if everything is saved correctly, it should pop up right away. I had an issue where I named the overfolder Shimu, and that got me nothing but the gray screen of disappointment. But if it works, then name your boy, and they should be in your city. Just pop into first person mode, look for them, and bam! There they are. The game even reads the transparencies on the sides. I love it. They have a default message if you want to talk to them, but there they are, and they just kind of hang out. They don't really do anything. So yes, all this trouble, all of this gear, just so you can put yourself or a drawing or your friends into the game. Sorry, not friends, friend, singular, because you can only put one of these avatars in at a time. And near as I can tell, this is literally it. Just, it's a thing you can look at. Do you know how hard I worked to do this? I didn't even get like a referral bonus, no extra money, no trophy. This game has a hide and seek mode where you look for specific residents for cash, but I never got the option to look for my little buddy. What? Why would you? And this is why I wanted to do the video. It is the most unnecessary thing I've ever seen, because near as I can tell, you get nothing special for doing this. Nintendo was like, hey, who's the super fan who's got all this crap? You can put your face in there. That's it. Doesn't tell you how to play Luigi in Mario 64. Doesn't help you capture Mewtwo. But it's gotta be one of the biggest wastes of time you could possibly do in a video game. But that is the type of information that I'm here to deliver to you. You're welcome. And that definitely is not as exciting as Perfect Head, but luckily, this isn't all that you can do with the good old Game Boy Camera. Mario Artist was a bit of a series on the DD and actually had 2 more main entries, Talent and Polygon Studio. Let's start with Talent Studio. Now you'll notice the menus are a bit different from Paint Studio, but I actually found it a lot easier to navigate with the language barrier. Importing a picture is pretty much the same, except the program actually asks you to map animation points onto a face. And wow, it works! Perfect Head is real! Just look at me, man! Just gotta go through and swag my Ugu the f out. Photo shoot fresh, looking like well about to call the paparazzi on myself. And now what I love about the 64 DD is that a lot of the software and technology was eventually cannibalized into other things. You can really see this in Mario Artist Talent Studio. The whole thing screams Tomodachi Life to me, but with way less Vine energy. I'm sucking my own dick and dying. Yeah, pretty cool. Wait, what is this microphone icon? Is this thing compatible with Hey You Pikachu as well? Well, I did some research, and while it seems like the thing that Nintendo would do, the Hey You Pikachu microphone actually comes with a dongle called a VRU that processes your audio itself and doesn't actually pass raw audio files into the N64, so no, that icon is not for Hey You Pikachu after all. And thank God, too. I took the Hey You Pikachu Pepsi challenge back in the day, and I chose C-Man. I love you.
You can go away.
Okay, truth is, I've been holding out on you. Mario Artist Talent Studio actually came bundled with its own microphone and this thing, the Capture Cassette. It let you input microphone audio, which is mostly only used on the talent screen as far as I can tell. You get your trusty microphone adapter, microphone, I guess I'll add that to the pile. Turn the icon on and just start saying stuff. It's kind of quiet, so you really gotta belt it. The game only seems to catch 1 or 2 syllable phrases, but pretty soon, it'll start talking to you in your voice. Hey, I'm. Derek. Which, while creepy, does keep the Game Boy Camera creepypasta saga alive. But the Capture Cassette. Yes, it turns out you don't need this hunk of junk after after all, as long as you have a digital camera with video out in the year 2000 and some cables. And sorry, but I didn't end up getting a digital camera that worked for it. I borrowed a friend's camera that I thought would work, but it didn't. I honestly tried, but we couldn't get this to work. Okay, this is getting ridiculous. Even Uncle Derek's got his limits. I'm getting kind of tired now. Look at this pile. Look at the options and the time and the money you had to have to make this work. I'm speechless. Cannot believe this is a real thing that Nintendo let you do or tried to let you do. Or man, what a waste of everyone's time. This wasn't the end of the Mario Artist titles either. There was also Polygon Studio, which was an insanely full-featured 3D model maker. While it didn't let you import photos directly, you could import a 2D image from Paint Studio. Let me just set up my cube and there it is. Nightmare fuel. I don't know why the image looks this fuzzy, but it's technically me. I guess like if an ascended version of me drifted into the astral plane. Polygon Studio had a couple of neat minigames, like this Progenitor 2 WarioWare, but for me, the star of the show was this full-on 3D open world. Hey Mom, look at me, I'm in a game! I did it! Kinda. I am not just in an N64 game, I am playing myself in an N64 game. Mission accomplished! No clickbait, who's got 2 thumbs and did it? This guy! I mean, this mode is relatively bare bones. It's awesome that it has its own physics engine. It has these cute little toasters all over the place that talk to you. This was too weird. I just had to know what they were saying, but thankfully there's actually a translated version of Polygon Studio that you can emulate, where you can see that the toast actually gives you tips about 3D modeling. That's cool. They're really well written, and definitely the type of weird, creative thing that I've grown to expect from a Mario Artist game. The N64 DD had an incredibly short lifespan, getting discontinued in 2001. Mario Artist only had one other piece of software, which was the communications kit, which, along with the RANDnet modem, would allow you to share your creations with other DD heads via the internet. Like, I think the shocking thing about Mario Artist and the DD is that it was a radical, forward-thinking experimentation with freedom from Nintendo that feels really out of step with the company we know today. It also was obviously a passion project. I just don't have any other way that I could possibly explain all of this. They really, really cared and really believed in this. Hey, would you like to see more DD videos? Want to see more of them Ds? 64 DDs, that is? Let me know in the comments, man. This video was made possible by N64 Street Gifts, lent us all of the DD stuff, of course, also made possible by every single one of our patrons. All these people here, you can join their ranks, have your name here in the credits, or get videos early, votes on future videos. That's our Patreon, stopskeletons.com. At Patreon, no, patreon.com/stopskeletonsfromfighting. Google it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you want more stuff, let us know. Always more ridiculous crap coming. Man, if you can't support us on Patreon though, hey, just tell a friend. Give us a like, give us a comment, subscribe, or just stick around, because we will see you again really soon.